you can't forget, this is a Felios and a Zir, some of the fastest Baron takers in the game. So Flyquest are going to look for an engage. That's really their only recourse. The Golden Guardians have to play safe here until someone answers. This is your time as a 4v4. If Impact dies, this is actually so bad.
Yeah, it just might be. The explosive cast goes wide. It only hits Huhi, but doesn't hit any of the frontline members that were threatening his life.
This is like game-endingly bad almost. You know, this could get really, really rough for them because now if you send people...
Azael's reaction to Flyquest is blunt and full of frustration. This is also likely going through the minds of fans and players alike. Impact said hold my beer, not only for a Gragas cosplay, but to also take a swing at and botch the Gragas engage. In 2023, Flyquest made the biggest roster moves of any LCS team, yet they had arguably the worst performance of any super team in recent memory, ending at 9th place in summer. Flyquest acquired Vikla from KT, who was the Rookie of the Year in 2022, and Prince from Live Sandbox, who won the Player of the Split award the same year. Flyquest seemed to have the ideal LCK imports heading into 2023. In the spring season, Flyquest finished 3rd in playoffs, losing to Golden Guardians in a nail-biting 5-game series in the lower bracket finals. Then going into the 2023 summer season, Flyquest made a supposed upgrade by signing Vulcan as their starting support player. However, nobody would see them placing 9th in the summer split, leaving Flyquest and Immortals as the only 2 teams that did not make playoffs. In this video, I will examine Flyquest's gameplay to better understand why they massively underperformed in the summer split. As a super team, individual talent is evident from the past success of all players. The only question that remains is whether the players synergize and have faith in each other. And in League of Legends, teamwork and strong mental is arguably more important than individual talent. An example is DRX and their miracle run at Worlds 2022. From being a mediocre team in LCK to winning Worlds despite Baron steals and backdoor failures, DRX subverted all expectations and reimagined new metrics to evaluate team strength. And for Flyquest, their gameplay severely lacked faith and coordination. During teamfights around critical objectives, Flyquest simply couldn't out-execute their opponents due to poor decision-making under pressure. And when players lack faith in each other, they are more willing to go for risky hero moment plays or greedy plays in an attempt to secure an individual lead. Let's first take a look at these unforced errors. In their very first game of summer, Flyquest go for a cross-map dive on Someday. Spica throws Maokai ult, but instead of waiting for Someday to be rooted for a guaranteed Jace EQ combo, Vikla throws it early and misses. This missing damage allowed Someday to live, and even get return kills on weak side, where they have no business getting kills. To add insult to injury, Prince disrespects 100 Thieves cross-map dive, and dies as well. A near ace at 12 minutes in your first game has to sting. And the lack of team coordination ensues for the rest of the split. In their first game against Team Liquid, Spica and Vulcan are invading Team Liquid's topside jungle. With Dragon up in a minute, and Vikla playing Tristana, what is standard is for Vikla to back and group with his team for Dragon. However, Vikla decides to stay after clearing the wave. Pyosik throws Q closer to the turret, expecting Vikla to play a bit safer. But Vikla is far from the safety of his turret. He even burns Flash before his inevitable death. At 14 minutes into their second game against 100 Thieves, Vikla is essentially checked out, jumping onto an Azir who scoops him under turret. Later in the same game, Flyquest strongside top to set up for Herald, while Impact is weak-siding bot. Impact sees his wards getting cleared away, but decides to greed for the next wave anyways. Vikla is uncontested top, the rest of his team is uncontested at Herald. And of course, 100 Thieves properly punishes Impact. In their second game against Team Liquid, Spica summons Herald right before it expires. And while Prince stuns Summit with Ash Arrow, the Scryer's Bloom reveals that Team Liquid is rotating faster than Flyquest. However, Vikla fails to realize this, and jumps on Summit and gives away his shutdown. To make matters worse, the Rift Herald doesn't even get turret plate money. Let's now take a look at examples of miscommunication at crucial teamfights around objectives. In their first game against TSM, Flyquest finds a pick on Wild Turtle. They then rotate to Baron, hoping to win a 5v4. Vikla lurks in a brush, while the rest of Flyquest hit Baron. This play looks good, until we see Vikla and Spica pull the trigger way too soon. Before TSM even get close to Baron, and before Baron is even low HP, Vikla uses his stun passive on Boogie. And Spica follows with a Flash Smite knock-up combo. This is poor decision making not only because Flyquest jump on Jarvan, who is rather tanky, but also failed to realize that their team can't follow up. In fact, Impact is still maintaining Baron aggro to keep Baron at 3/4 HP, but Spica just used Smite. And while Spica kills Boogie, he trades his life, and the skirmish becomes a 3v3 with Impact finally leaving Baron. And Flyquest failed to realize that Malphite ult is almost up, so they lose the fight to a Malphite LeBlanc Wombo combo. This clip shows that while Spica and Vikla were on the same page about jumping on Boogie, it was just way too soon. In their first game against Golden Guardians, Licorice is playing Hullbreaker Yone, while Impact is playing AP Gragas. Therefore, Golden Guardians' win condition is through split pushing, so Flyquest ought to force his TP to objective fights. Flyquest managed to chunk River and kill Gory, while Impact TPs to try to bait Licorice into following him. While Impact fumbles the Everfrost ult combo on Huhi, it's forgivable because Flyquest can just take Baron quickly in this 5v3 situation, quickly enough to address Yone right after. Flyquest make their way to Baron, but Impact critically decides to base instead of staying at Baron to help his team secure it. This is exactly what Golden Guardians want Flyquest to do. Golden Guardians doesn't want Licorice to join a team fight. His Hullbreaker's value would be diminished. Once Baron gets low, Flyquest gets nervous. They stall, allowing Licorice to get a free inhib. The caster's reaction says it all.
He does not have Flash.
Oh, I think Flyquest are getting antsy about it. They're holding it. They're way too scared because Impact is sitting on the bottom side of the map.
This is getting awkward.
2,000 HP. They're going to get Vision soon. Huhi is there to grant Vision over the wall. River can easily make this steal if he wants to, but it is Flyquest that secured the Baron, but the cost of it is Licorice taking the inhibitor, and they lose Vulcan on the back end of it. Can they chase them down?
In their first game against Evil Geniuses, both teams are ARAMing and getting vision around Baron. EG has a dive comp with Nocturne, Nico, and Rel, while Flyquest has a poke burst comp with Jason Maokai first poking, then Malphite and Alistar engaging. As a result, Flyquest ought to be careful to not get engaged, but they play a bit too carefully. Flyquest's vision spots 4 EG members, and while Nocturne is not seen, it doesn't matter because he can engage with ult from anywhere near. EG make their way into top river, and Flyquest knows this. But Impact, as the main tank, does the duty of clearing long flank wards, when A, his job is to walk through big chokes and face check for his team, and B, you just saw EG walk into river, so the chances of a flank are near impossible. Impact is completely unaware of his role as Malphite, which leaves his team reluctant to gain vision. When Impact finally positions to tank and face check the pixel brush, Baron is essentially gone. Flyquest, because of their poor understanding of teamfight setup, can't even put up a fight at Baron. What should have happened? Spica could have been where Impact was, and gain vision of Baron and even throw an angled Maokai ult. Worst case, Spica is in position for a Baron steal by flashing over the wall. Flyquest finally arrive after Baron is taken. Ayla coordinates his flank engage with Armeo's Nocturne ult. Together, they kill Prince, winning EG both Baron and the teamfight. In their first game against Dignitas, both teams are ARAMing at 21 minutes. Both supports trade flash engages, but Diamond goes in alone, resulting in an easy kill for Flyquest. In this 5v4 situation, Flyquest decide to start Baron. Flyquest's blue trinket spots Quinn in the top lane river bush, while another ward spots Annie wrapping around to top side. And while Dignitas' 4 members get into position, Impact and Vulcan are still in the Baron pit, not making space for their team. Vulcan ought to be defending against Quinn and Annie, or Impact and Vikla can go for a play on Aphelios with a Azir shuffle. But from what we see, Flyquest starts to panic and fails to punish Dignitas in a clear advantageous 5v4. Vikla and Prince are looking to retreat from Rich and Jensen, while Santorin is allowed to patiently wait for a Baron steal. Impact finally forces Santorin to take the Blast Cone, and while Baron is still not at smite range, Santorin does not panic. He trusts his teammates and goes for the gutsy play to ult Vikla. And of course, Rich and Jensen got his back, and together, they burst down Vikla. After this, Flyquest are in shambles. Spica is trapped in the back of the pit, Vulcan is fighting a 1v4, and Prince and Impact are zoned by Tivers. And while Rich greeds for the kill on Impact, Dignitas turn a 4v5 into a Baron steal, and an overall teamfight victory. Again, this is because Flyquest froze. They didn't have any real plan at Baron. They gave Dignitas all the time in the world to set up a Baron flank, and they were punished dearly. On September 9th, way before the off-season begins, Flyquest dropped Vikla, who has openly acknowledged a steep drop in his confidence. When asked how he thinks he ranks among other LCS mid laners, he had this to say.
5, 6,
Now,
4, 7.
10.
You think you're 10?
Yeah, now 10. So bad, I think.
Are you scared? Are you nervous?
I think I get nervous a little bit, and I don't know, just mind problem, I think. Because also, yeah, I think so, mind problem. I get nervous.
So what's next? As teams start planning their rosters for 2024, I think it's time for team managers to finally realize that success in League esports is mostly determined by morale, trust, and teamwork. There have been many instances of failed super teams besides 2023 Flyquest, such as 2023 Vitality and 2022 Team Liquid. Instead of relying on star-studded rosters, I urge team managers to develop rosters with great synergy to attain incredible results. Examples of underrated teams that performed include NRG's recent victory in 2023 summer, DRX's Miracle Worlds run in 2022, and the Rocks Tigers in 2016 summer. I'll leave you with this famous shoutcasting moment from Doa.
And now, this group of players that had either retired or been rejected by other teams comes in, no big sponsor, no big team house. It's not necessary because they are going to win LCK Summer and they are going to get...
What else do you think caused Flyquest's 9th place finish in summer? Let me know in the comments. If you like analytical content like this, be sure to hit the like and subscribe button. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.